Hey everybody, how are you? It is the end of October. I hope everyone's, fall season has gotten off to a good start. Things are starting to cool down here, so I'm very thrilled about that. I thought I would do a full face episode just to catch you all up. It's been a little while doing one of these, so I thought maybe this would be a nice time stamp, kind of benchmark in the year to give you all kind of an update on what I've been working on. Of course, if you've been watching or are subscribed to the channel for a while, you've noticed I've switched over to more of a vlog style, which I really like that, because some weeks I might have a lot going on and other weeks I might not, but at least I can provide a little bit of something, just to put it out there, let you know what I'm working on, that kind of thing. Doing a full-fledged episode like this takes a lot more effort, takes a lot more setup and time and whatever, so these won't happen nearly as often, but I thought this would be a good time. It's getting close to the end of the year, and I do have, so I've been opening a collaborative box for the month of October. I'll have another one, one or two in December, that I'll do the same thing as often as I can, hopefully weekly vlog style, and then maybe do another one of these at the end of the year, just a kind of year-end wrap-up kind of thing. And then for November, I don't have a whole lot going on, but I do have a couple of stitch-alongs that I'm going to try to participate in, and if that's the case, if I get going on those, then I will have those to contribute to my weekly vlogs throughout the month of November. So with multiple holidays approaching and time off and vacation and seeing family and that kind of thing, the vlogs definitely work a lot better because I can fit that in. As you've seen this past, few vlogs that I've done, not everything's stitchy. I had some baseball in there, had one day of just had a whole week of not a whole lot, so I took you on a commute to work to show you what that was like. So yeah, so the vlog is kind of nice because it allows me to contribute in whatever I'm working on. It doesn't pigeonhole me in one category. It doesn't constrict or restrict me in ways that I may not, may feel like, oh, I can only do this, or I should only do that, or I should only talk about this. It just kind of opens up my general life to you all. So, having said that, we're going to talk about a few things today. I'm not going to go back all the way back to the last, legit, number 11 episode that I did. I was looking through my journal and I realized there's just been a lot that's gone on over all that time. If I decide to do a year-end type of thing, what I may do is basically start, from the beginning of the year and do like a full-fledged, all my finishes, all my whips or something, the things that a lot of people do. So I might do something like that then, and then that might bridge the gap in there between the last, episode 11 and when I start switching over to the vlogs. So, but in this episode, I am going to cover basically the month of October, and everything that I feel like represents the last month or so. So there will be a lot of overlap. If you've been watching the vlogs, you may see a lot of things that that I've been working on all this time. So I won't dwell on anything too long. But in addition to that, though, there are a couple of things that I don't believe I've shown So maybe there will be some new things in here as well. So hope you all enjoy. What is up ahead is my cross stitching for the month, the knitting that I've done for the month, which that will add some things that you guys have not seen. And then I've got a few things that came in the mail, actually just like yesterday or day before. And then towards the end, I will talk about my remaining plans. I've talked a little bit about what I'm going to do for the rest of the year, but specifically with regards to Whip Go. I won't get into it right now, but we'll cover that a little bit later. But I do want to discuss that because that's kind of been missing from all of my stitching timeline for the last several months. So let me get together everything for this first little section, and I will be right back. Okay, so the first little bit I'm going to go over is basically all of my stitching for the month of October. This is going to include, I'll start with my finishes, the stuff that I've finished or fully finished, and then I'll go into my current works in progress, what I'm currently working on, and a couple of things that I have planned, going forward. So these first couple, I'm going to pop pictures up here because they're either somewhere where I can't get my hands on them right now, so I didn't want to spend a whole lot of time trying to track them down, or they're in a stage of being fully finished that is not complete yet, and so I don't want to. I know I've taken pictures prior to this of at least the finished stitching. So the first one I'll show you towards the beginning of the month. I finished another Leo and Roxy conversion for Michelle Bendy called January Basket. This one, I'll give you a little bit of backstory on this. I do have, as a matter of fact, I do have the chart. So this is the pattern, and these are the flosses that I used, which is Under the Sea Foam, Dark Sage, Mushroom, and Morganite. And I had a lot of fun with this. It is a small stitch. It's 52 by 43. But the interesting, funny thing about this one was, this was also a Patreon release of Michelle's. So I had a digital copy of this as well. And when I was stitching this pattern, the Patreon copy, I noticed the zigzags were different. And so I had to go back and do some frogging here to get my finish to match her actual chart. So that was kind of my first finish for the month. That one's in a stage of being fully finished that I haven't completed yet. So it's not where I can just show it because it's kind of a work in progress, so to speak, on the fully finishing. Then the second one I finished, which you all got to see over the course of these vlogs, was Ellen Reed's Fall is Greater. And I had a ton of fun with that. And I'm really, 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 really happy with my fully finish with my little sign. That was my second finish for the year. And that one, Ellen had stitched it using Leo and Roxy. I did not have all of the exact colors. I had a couple, but I just had to sub in for the ones that I didn't have, which is with alternates. And I think it turned out great. I mean, I think hers was on a different fabric. It was on a more orangey autumnal fabric, and I used a more grungy kind of neutral, but I think it turned out great and had a lot of fun with it, and definitely got some good reactions to my posting of it on Instagram, which you can follow me there if you like. It's a public account. So I had a lot of fun with that one. And then my third finish, which is actually right here, and is another one of Michelle's, Trimming the Tree, and it's another Leo and Roxy conversion. And this one, you can kind of see the hoop marks. I need to go back and iron it again. But it's another Leo and Roxy conversion. There's the pattern compared to it's a different fabric. I didn't have the same fabric. The fabric in the picture looks more purpley blue or icy. I don't know quite how to explain it, but mine has a bit more like green almost to it. It's got some purple in it. You can kind of see up here in the corners. But it's definitely got a greener kind of tinge to it though too. This almost looks like a blue jean kind of in the pattern picture, a blue jean kind of blue. So yeah, I'm totally happy with that. So this is the next one I need to finish. I've got an idea for what I want to do, and if it works out, I may record it maybe as a how-to or a tutorial sort of. But that was my third finish for the month, and these were basically just things that I was working on that I had kind of in the queue, things that I had either started or almost finished, or like in the case of Ellen's pattern, just something that I really, really, really wanted to do before fall was over, and it was pretty quick stitch when you're motivated enough to do something, or you like something a whole lot. She even made the comment, I think I posted it in my stories that I was 100% done. And she's like, wow, yeah, that was fast. And I said, look, when you have convictions about one season being greater than the other season, you feel like you need to stitch that as fast as possible to let the world know how you feel about it. So we had to get a laugh about that. So those were my finishes. And then for my whips for the month of October, I am part of Team Sips and Stitches for Stiach this year. And if you aren't familiar with Stiach, it is Em and Matt Fitzpatrick, and they've been doing it for a number of years now. They're husband and wife. Basically, they collaborate together. They design a cross-stitch pattern that is usually pretty snarky or has a pop culture reference or something like that. And then they release it when the next Stiach-along begins. They release the pattern in sections, so you don't have any idea what you're stitching. They might give you, like this year they gave you 2 palette choices, but it's not set in stone, like you can do whatever you want. But some years they'll tell you, just pick this range or try to go with this kind of idea for your color tone. But other years, like this year, they try to give you something a little bit more specific in mind. But essentially it's dropped over multiple weeks. So this is the end, or Friday, each Friday there's another pattern drop or another section released. So this Friday was the third week. And we're going through till like December. So it's going to be a long process. But essentially, this is the end of week 3. And so again, this is probably something, if you've been watching my vlogs, you know what this looked like when I first started stitching it, because they also like to pick out portions of the pattern that have nothing to do with the end result, and just they're like to pull out things that are just juvenile and childish and hysterical, quite frankly. And you have to kind of be okay with that. But it has no bearing on the pattern whatsoever. It's just that they're juvenile. And they like to do that. So again, we have no idea what any of this means. It definitely looks like there are words in there, like the word it, or it is, and possibly the word cool, but we're all pretty sure this is a pattern element, or a design element, this isn't a letter. And then this said taco, and now there might be some kind of like maybe S right there next to the T. So yeah, we don't know where we're going with this. I am not using the called for DMC colors, but I did pull flosses from my stash that got pretty close. This one that looks kind of terracotta colored, the darker one, she recommended something that was a bit more reddish than that, but it's fine. And then the dark blue was a kind of a navy blue color. And mine is a bit more tealy green. It's kind of hard to tell here, but it's got a little bit more green to it. But other than that, they're pretty close to what was recommended. And I think at this point, let me think about this for a second. 2, 3, 4, yeah, all the colors are represented. It's kind of hard to see. There's a yellow here in the center of this one. So there's 2 blues, a yellow, and then 2 different oranges, a light orange and a dark orange, and then the green. So that's it. And we'll just continue. And this is probably maybe the top third to half, so it's only going to be about this big, and that's as wide as it gets. So it really is a pretty small. It's going to look more like a traditional sampler. And with Stiach along, like our team, you have team challenges every week that everybody tries to compete with each other, and then there are individual challenges throughout the whole thing. Everybody just kind of has fun with it. So that is one of the things, and this will be an ongoing whip, obviously, for the rest of the year. Like, this is not going to get done anytime soon, and there's no rush to it, and every Friday we get a new pattern drop, and then we stitch until we're caught up again, and then we wait for the next one. So that one's okay. It'll just, it's a work in progress till the end of the year. And then the other 2 whips I've been working on. One is I just started not that long ago, because this dropped just in the last week maybe. This is Uncanny Kari's Midnight at the Pumpkin Patch. I think the last vlog I had this little pumpkin bit done with the leaves. Or maybe this little pumpkin bit with these leaves. And then I think I had just this little pumpkin, just the outline done. So I finally got his face in, filled in these leaves, got this little star emblem, and then started working on the vines and started on this little flower over here. So, and I am using Leo and Roxy on this one. And I realized today there is actually one more color, which is just white. So I'm going to pull weathered white, which is a good standard white color for Leo and Roxy. But the reason why I finally realized that was because the center of this little star is white. And I didn't realize. There's not a lot of white in it, but it does require some white. So yeah, those are my colors. Here, and I'll set that down for a minute. So this is Florida Pink, and this is Flamingo. So those are my 2 light and dark pinks. And then my 2 light and dark greens are Jaded and Grouchy, like Oscar the Grouch, Grouchy. So those are my colors. So 5 colors that's a really good pattern design, because that just means that basically, you don't have a lot to go on, or you don't have a lot of color changes, and you can just zip right along with it. It's been great. And yes, this is a 32 count. I know I must have received this in like a subscription box or something, but I don't know where. But it's a 32 count linen, and yes, it does have sparkle. I hope you all can see that. I can kind of see the sparkle there and down here. So, and I've mentioned this in my vlog as well. I'm stitching this 1/2. I want the sparkle to kind of come through on the stitches, and I also want, I kind of want that kind of not nostalgic, vintage look to it. I don't want real thick, heavy coverage. I kind of want it to be a little more light and playful. So there's that one. And then finally my other whip that I started working on was one that I got in one of my 5 weeks of cryptid box from Fangirl Fibers, and this is one of the Assisi Cuties from Michelle Bendy Stitchy, and this is the Chupacabra. And we were given, as part of the box, this variegated DMC, and I don't know if you can kind of tell there's some gray and some lighter, but you can see it in the picture. There's the background behind the Chupacabra, and then that one last edge. And then the other color is DMC 815, but I opted instead. I have just this much left of a original, the first dye lot of Merlot from Leo and Roxy. There's since been a new dye lot issued, so this is all I've got left of the original. So I thought I would use it for the back stitching. So, and the post-it is, because this is just a paper copy, that's how I keep track of where I am in a pattern. This is where I am. So I got a little bit of the actual back stitching done. It's really, really, really cute. I really like it a lot. So, yeah, so that's his little tail. And then, of course, you know, I got to do the rest of his body. And then he's got another little spike, it looks like, on his back. Right here. And then his scales. And then, yeah. But I've got quite a bit still left of the variegated to do. So, so moving right along with that. It's actually, the back stitching isn't terrible. It's just a lot. I mean, you have to like back stitching because all of those little diagonals are all, you know, single back stitches, and then you've got to do the same thing all around the edge when it, on the outside. And so, but he's really cute. He's really, really, really adorable. So, really liking that. So, that is all my cross stitching for the month. So when I come back here in a second, I will talk a little bit about my knitting. Okay, so I haven't done just a whole lot with my knitting, or haven't done just a whole lot of knitting this month, and I think I'll get to the culprit here in a minute, but I will show you the one finished object that I had done, which again is something else that I mentioned in my blog, was this hat that I'd started back, I want to say in like August, but I finally got it done this month, and it's just a Keep Slipping hat by Shannon Squire, and it's using an old Knit Crate color. I'm not a Knit Crate subscriber anymore. You can go out, if you're interested in Knit Crate subscription, I would just go out and I would do some research first. I haven't been a subscriber in quite a while. I want to say, like, I haven't received a Knit Crate subscription probably since right about the time the pandemic started, so, you know, first part of 2020 maybe, and it was kind of apparent then that they were starting to have supply chain issues, and I had plenty of yarn, and I didn't necessarily need any more, and of course at the time I think we all didn't know what was going to happen with, you know, our jobs and that kind of thing, so I kind of was trying to trim back a little bit. But anyway, so I had plenty of yarn here, but all that to say, if you're interested in Knit Crate, there are people out there that currently, or up until very recently, had subscriptions, and I've heard a lot of different things from a lot of different people about the way Knit Crate is operating now. I don't know if they're back on track or not, but I would definitely do my research before you make that commitment, because I think just like everybody else in the craft community at large, there's been a lot of supply chain issues with yarn. There's been a lot of supply chain issues with fabric and embroidery thread, you know, floss, that kind of thing. So just do your homework. Make sure it is something you want to do. Make sure it's, you know, that you're seeing stories of people out there that are happy with their Knit Crate subscriptions before you decide to go down that road. But anyway, so back to my hat. This was just a knitology yarn, and I've got like in my journal I keep all my stuff. It was a Brooklyn Boy Knits collaboration knitology color called Royal Court, and it's a worsted. The Keep Slipping hat and mitts, the pattern calls for worsted weight yarn. So and it knits up really quick. The only reason why this took so long was I just put it down and didn't get back to it right away, but it knits up really, really quick. And this is really kind of funny too, because the first Keep Slipping hat I finished back in May or June, and the size needles that I needed in or I wanted to have in circular interchangeables, and I know that I have some, but they must have been part of another pattern, like another WIP project. I couldn't find any. So these two hats were actually done done with DPNs, and it went just as well as I'd hoped. It actually, in some ways, went better for the crown decrease. And then the other thing, in my vlog, when I first showed this, I showed you I had attempted or had considered putting a hair elastic in here to make this a ponytail hat, and then I changed my mind, so I just ended up crocheting a couple of rows around it and then binding off, but leaving the hole at the top so I can still pull my ponytail through. So if you want to see me struggle with that, but show you how cute it looks with a ponytail, it is in one of my previous vlogs, so it's definitely there if you want to watch. But anyways, so that was the one finish I got to. Another thing that I've currently picked up, or more recently picked up again, this is just a tube, which is going to. I decided a while back that the one method of sock construction I had not tried yet was the afterthought heel, where basically you cut into a tube and put in a heel afterwards. So this is a couple of different skeins of Patton's Croy. This is the cuff color, and then this is the sock color. These were actually this color, this 2 skeins of this were actually gifted to me by my mother. And so I just decided I'm going to knit tubes, and I will use the same color, the other grayish mushroom kind of color. When I get down to the end of the skein, I will use the gray, the mushroom, to do the toe, and then I will go back and cut for the heel. And I've never done one this way, so this is my attempt to try to do those. The only thing though is I have two of these skeins, and you see how long this is already. Like if I put my arm up, this goes all the way to my elbow already. If it were like a wrist, fingerless, long mitten, that's how long it would be. It would be all the way to my elbow. But my intention is to knit it all the way to the end, and then add the toe, and then kind of go from there. So I don't know how long this sock is going to be. The other thing that I did not know about myself until knitting this particular one was I, up until very recently, didn't realize that I was actually knitting, I don't want to say incorrectly, but incorrectly. What most knitters would consider incorrect. But I was getting the fabric that I wanted. Well, when I tried knitting the correct way, or what should be the correct way, I realized what I was actually doing was like a twisted stitch. Twisted stitch. So this tension, the fabric is much tighter. But in order to be consistent, I've got to finish what I did. Now, where the consistency will really kick in is when I get ready to start the second one. But for now, I'm going to keep knitting this way. So this is a very, very, like, I'm almost thinking these would make like good compression socks when I get done with them. So, and there's nothing wrong with compression socks. So, I'm probably going to be of a certain age eventually where I might need them. And they're definitely warm. I mean, these are like really, really thick, woolly socks. So, all that to say, this, because I'm literally at this point just knitting in the round till I get to the end of this, it's mindless. It's something I can sit there and watch TV. I can, be on hold on a phone call. I can be doing lots of things. This is really nice, and that's the thing that I forgot when I picked this back up, was how nice this is just to have something just to knit in the round, especially when you don't know, you want to knit just to. So for me, knitting gives me a space, especially when it's mindless, where all I'm doing is going around in a circle and I'm not having to pay attention to counts or stitches or pattern changes or anything like that. This allows my brain to reset, or if I've got something that's been on my mind, lets me work through it while my hands are busy. So it's almost like a fidget spinner or something for people with anxiety. It's actually a really good thing. It really helps me a lot. But that's the thing. It's got to be something where I don't have to concentrate, don't have to pay attention. It's just, getting colors done. So since I just picked this up this month, where I had left off a very while back was basically at this stripe right here. So I've done about that much in the past, and it hasn't even been the full month. It's been like the last maybe week or so. So yeah, when I just need something, I need something to decompress my brain, my mind. I got something on my mind that I need to work through, and I need to be kind of alone but busy. Keep myself occupied, but at the same time work through something problem I'm trying to solve, or something at work. This is great for that. So I'm glad I picked it back up. This was also picked up as an attempt to try to be better about finishing, especially my knitted whips. I bought a couple of big, not Rubbermaid, but Rubbermaid-like totes with the locking lids. One of them is full of all my cross-stitch whips and some kits, some kitted projects, everything that I know that I need to work on, especially everything that's already been started. The other tote has got everything in it that I would like to work on or get done that is a knitting project. So this was one of them. I have a bag that I keep all of my sock projects in. So like when I get finished with one, I start with it, or I put a new one in there. And I've got a couple of other balls of yarn down in there for projects that I've been wanting to do for a while, but I just keep, you get distracted real easily, and so that's what ends up happening. So that's what this is basically something to pick up to remind myself, hey, when you need just something to keep you busy, or to kind of reset your brain a little bit, this is the good thing to work on, to pick up. And then finally, the piece that I've been avoiding talking about since the first of the month, when I kind of started my vlogs, I had mentioned that I hung it, my project bag, I got the yarn kit for the new Stephen West knit along. And as I haven't knit very many of his other knit alongs, but the ones that I have, I've always knit after the fact, after I've seen the project. I've always loved them. So I trusted that he was gonna not let me down. And I shouldn't say it like that. He hasn't let me down. But I noticed that as I was watching other people do their first few, especially this first section, were really, I don't know if the word's frustrated, but this first section was released, and then the second part came out, and this first section is so big that nobody was done with it. It's a very cool, if you go out, if you're watching knitters and you've seen the first section, you know what this is going to end up looking like. So I'll show you my colors, and it is going to look really cool. But I've now seen the second and even the third sections, and I'm not sure what's going on with this. And I've seen people just give up on it because they don't like it. It's too much. It's too complicated. Yada yada yada. I've got a ton of stitch markers on here, and there's a good reason for that. But I literally have only knit the first three rows, and there's 14 of these. So this is where I'm at. So the dark color is maroon. The light color is like a sand color. And then my color pop, which if I ever get there, is this orange. Like, I haven't even wound it yet because I'm nowhere near using that third color yet. But yeah, I'm at a stalled point with this. I just don't know what else, or I don't know what to think about it. I like the colors a lot. I think what I'm going to have to do is wait and see somebody's finished shawl. So the deal is, this is a chevron section. Again, if you've been following it all, you kind of know what this is going to look like. I've got so little bit done, it's ridiculous. But every single section, if I hold it up close, you have a cast on, bind off, cast on, bind off, cast on, bind off, and you got to do that like 6 or 7 times for each row, and there's 14 rows, and it is a lot. It's tedious, it's time consuming. When you're done with it and you do what you do, the little braids that you do with it, it's adorable, but it's a lot of work. So this is, for lack of a better word, being put in timeout. It's not really being put in timeout, I don't guess. It's just it's gonna go away for a while. I need to think about if this is really what I want to do. If this is really, if the finished object is really worth the struggle with it, the time consumption that it's going to take. And yeah, if I get back to it, I'll get back to it. If not, I haven't gotten very far. I'll just rip it out, but I definitely want to use these colors. I absolutely love these colors. I don't know. Got done with the first 3 rows, watched the first video, and I've saved all the other 3 videos. He released a video with each section to kind of show you, how to stitch it. But I got done with the first 3 rows, watched the rest of the first video, to kind of see what we were doing with it. And then a lot of the other knitters that I've watched on YouTube, I just kind of seen some people be very motivated by the intrigue and the uniqueness. I mean, it's Stephen West, so it's always going to be something unique. But being motivated enough to keep going because they wanted to see where it was going. But I've seen a lot of other people that they got done with the first section. It's so cute. And then they'd start in with the second. Again, if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. And then they're just like, I don't know what's going on here. And then the third. And then they're like, I'm not even sure. I'm sure he has something in mind, or I'm sure this is all gonna flow together somehow, but I don't know what it is. I mean, it's a lot. So I think what I want to see is other people finish it, and I want to see what theirs looks like, and I want to see the different colors. That's the other thing, because my colors, I haven't seen anything like my colors. I've seen one that's pretty close that was like a black and a white and then a hot pink pop, and that looked really cute. But I want to see it finished. I want to see what the ultimate result is, because if it's not something that I want, that, like, if I look at it and go, I would never wear that, then I'm stopping now. I'm not gonna go on. Like, the shawlography is a perfect example. That shawl is so gorgeous, but watching people knit that and seeing how labor intensive and tedious certain sections were, the finished product or project looks like a stained glass window. It is absolutely gorgeous, and I think the people that are knitting it absolutely love it, and there are still people knitting it. But I would never wear it. I mean, it's something that when I look at it, it's like that needs to be hung up on a wall. I would never wear it. So there's no reason for me to knit it. If I'm going to knit something, I'm going to knit it to wear it. So anyway, so yeah, so that's where I'm at on this. So we'll kind of wait and see, and I'm sure in the future you'll probably hear me say something about it, whether or not it gets de-knitted, unraveled, and use it for something else, or I chug along with it and you guys get to watch me continue to knit it. So alright, so that's it for knit. When I come back, I'll go over the little bit of mail I've received. Why not? You guys can check my little bit of investment out this month, and we'll wrap things up. Okay, so let me show you the couple of things that I received in the mail this week. If you ever watch, I said it a minute ago, but you may not have picked up on it. If you ever watched Denise of Black Ribbons Studio, she started to refer to her things that she purchases that she's received in the mail as an investment, rather than haul or, purchases or anything like that. I think a lot of us realize the things that we are buying now will be put towards future projects. And I think we all realize too that at a certain point we'll get to an age where we'll be retired. We might be on a fixed income. We might be in a situation where we can't afford to continue to purchase the things to stitch or knit or whatever. So she started referring to hers as investments towards her stitching future. So I like that a lot. So I'm going to make a concerted effort to refer to anything that I receive in the mail that I've purchased as an investment in my stitching future. So I did receive a couple of fabrics. One is my Be Stitch Me Fabric of the Month color called Whimsical, and I get the 16 count Aida, and it's just a really, really, really pretty purple blue. And I think that looks pretty close. So that is absolutely gorgeous. And then the other fabric that I received was my Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers, which is a nice, perfect, like mid-tone to dark gray called Ashes to Ashes. And it's a 32 count linen. That is just absolutely gorgeous. Like, just perfectly gray, Like, I would almost... I wouldn't. But I was going to say, I would almost just cut this fabric up and make like a nice scarf with it by itself. It's a perfect neutral gray. The kind of gray that I would wear to work every day. So, that's absolutely perfect. In addition to that, I did receive my monthly Leo and Roxy subscriptions. I get both the brights and the neutrals now, just to have a lot more available to work with. So these are the brights. Really, really, really pretty. And this is more green. That looks blue on the camera, but this is definitely more of a tealy green color. Yeah, it still looks way too blue. So this is Teal My Heart. Hold on a second. Let me try something here. Yeah, that actually works a little bit better. Not great, but a little bit better. So Teal My Heart is the dark teal. This is like a slate gray blue called Pewter. This lighter teal is called Aquatics. This is a lighter blue, almost, like a pale blue called Drizzle. That light is terrible. And then this bright pink is called Pink About It. So there are those. And then, I'm going to try something really quick because I want to see. I know everything has to do with what it's up against. So let me try something really quick. That's a little bit better. Yeah. Okay. Oops. And then the neutrals, again, not neutral as in like neutral color, but neutral as in like not bright, are these 5. Let's try this again with the paper brown. Yeah, that's actually not terrible. So the brown is called Fossil. That's actually a really good neutral brown color. The red is called Sangria, and it's kind of like a brick red. It's got a little more purple to it, or a little bit of purpley, to it, like maroon almost. The medium gray is called This Sand That. So you can kind of see it there. The blue is called Pika Blue, and that's a good like denim, like if you needed like something for, like if you had a pattern that had like a person wearing coveralls or jeans or something, that's a good denim blue. And then this paler white is called Frosting. And it's a little bit, it's got a little bit of yellow or brown or something in it, but it's a good, very, very neutral white color. So there are those. So I'm happy about that. And then you might have noticed, these are my last 2 days of my Haunted America box, my 31 days. And then I've got my last, my 5th week of the cryptids. So I thought I would open them on here. So the 31 days of Haunted America is another piece of linen with the Bell Witch Cave in Adams, Tennessee. This says, widely considered by ghost hunters and paranormal investigators as America's most haunted location, the story of the Bell family dates back to 1804. John Bell moved his wife, Lucy, and their children from North Carolina to Robertson County, Tennessee, where he purchased 320 acres of farmland along the Red River. The family lived a peaceful life for 13 years, but in the summer of 1817, the family would experience things that would change their lives forever. What started as seeing strange animals on the farm led to hearing eerie noises in their cabin. Several accounts varied on who or what was causing the disturbances or why they were tormenting the Bell family. The sounds the family heard escalated to a voice speaking directly to them until it could be heard in every room of the house, while especially terrorizing John's youngest daughter, Betsy, with beatings that left her unconscious. The notoriety of this unseen force spread throughout the countryside and left the Bell family with people camping out on their farm by the hundreds, hoping to witness this strange phenomenon. This Bell Witch, as it became known, vowed to kill John Bell and subsequently took credit for his death 3 years later on December 20th, 1820, when a vial was found next to his deathbed with a strange liquid inside. John Bell's death was attributed to the Bell Witch, making Tennessee the only state to recognize a person's death to the supernatural. There you go. So creepy. And this is a really pretty, you are not going to be able to see this at all, and you're just going to have to just be okay with it. It's actually like a really silvery, like cloud silver gray. It's gorgeous, but you're not getting a lick of it here, folks. Sorry to say. And I think that's because it's getting dark outside or in the back, so yeah, you're just not getting any of it. I was trying to find a secondary light maybe, but that is just not working. It works when I have the camera down, pointed down at the table where you can see, and it's got a blue background so you can see a lot better. So there is the final day of my Haunted America box. So basically you all haven't seen this, but my entire Haunted America box is in this project bag. The entire thing. All of it, floss and everything. This is a Evertote bag, and there was a companion little coffee ring, little mini bag. I started putting like some of the floss rings and floss and stuff in there, but eventually just gave up. So I basically just chunked everything in here, but that's what's in this bag, is everything related to my Haunted America bag. Or box, I mean. And then my cryptids are all in this one. And this is another Evertote bag as well. But yeah, there are far fewer in here. But like all of my my floss rings and everything for this one are in here as well. So let's do that. Let's open the final cryptid. And of course this one doesn't include like my two Assisi cuties. I pulled them out. Of course I'm working on Chupacabra, but I want to work on Squatch too. So this is the final one from, this one was every Monday. So we had 5 weeks of like an entire kit basically for a cryptid. So we've got another tea called Jackalope. The flavor profile for this says, like the tines of a jackalop's antlers, The flavors of apple, carrot, tulsi, and chicory will pierce your taste buds with deliciousness. Don't be afraid to hop in to a cup. So yeah, and I did the little, my very last vlog here for the end of the month, that ended on Sunday the 30th. I actually had a little preview or a little kind of video that showed you there is a single disposable sachet, tea bag sachet in here with about an ounce of tea. And so all you do is you just rip it open and you pull that little sachet out and you fill it with tea and you fold it over, and the hot water basically kind of keeps that sachet, shut, and you have yourself a nice cup of tea. So that's really exciting. We've got more tea. So this must be the theme of this last final cryptid, because here is the adorable little jackalope needle minder. That's absolutely adorable. Jackalope's the other one I think I mentioned previously in one of my vlogs. Jackalope and chupacabra are the two that are known around these parts. So yeah, there's that. And we have another SCC Cutie from Michelle. That's absolutely adorable. So this is the background color, which, and I know that's how it is with pictures sometimes, but that background color looks a little more purpley. Like this looks a little more sandy. And then we did get a nice piece of blue linen. It's definitely different from the picture, but that doesn't mean it's not. It wouldn't make a good stitch. So yeah, so 4140 of course is the variegated, and then 632 is the back stitching. So it must be like a really dark brown, I would guess. And then if you're curious, this photo was stitched on 32 count Irish cream linen by R&R Reproductions. So yeah, Squatch may have to wait. This may be my second one instead of Squatch. And then here's the little card on the jackalope. And this reads, "The jackalope is a mythical animal of North American folklore in the category of fearsome critters, described as a jackrabbit with antelope horns. The word jackalope is a portmanteau of jackrabbit and antelope. Many jackalope taxidermy mounts, including the original, are made with deer antlers. In the 1930s, Douglas Herrick and his brother, hunters with taxidermy skills, popularized the American jackalope by grafting deer antlers onto a jackrabbit carcass and selling the combination to a local hotel in Douglas, Wyoming. Thereafter, they made and sold many similar jackalopes to a retail outlet in South Dakota, and another taxidermist continues to manufacture the horned rabbits in the 21st century. Stuffed and mounted jackalopes are found in many bars and other places in the United States. Stores catering to tourists sell jackalope postcards and other paraphernalia, and commercial entities in America and elsewhere have used the word jackalope or a jackalope logo as part of their marketing strategies. The jackalope has appeared in published stories, poems, television shows, video games, and a low-budget mockumentary film. The Wyoming legislature has considered bills to make the jackalope the state's official mythological creature. The underlying legend of the jackalope, upon which the Wyoming taxidermists were building, may be related to similar stories in other cultures and other historical times. Researchers suggest that at least some of the tales of horned hares were inspired by sightings of rabbits infected with the Shope papillomavirus. It causes horn and antler-like tumors to grow in various places on a rabbit's head and body." And then there's a little picture there. That's not a good, if I can find, when I do editing, if I can find a good jackalope picture, I will put one, because, the whole taxidermy thing is the whole angle. It's basically, it's a stuffed jackrabbit, but they've somehow affixed deer antlers to it. So anyway, but yeah, that's a big thing in the Southwest, especially. I mean, this is like the Wild West, you know, like Wyoming or whatever. But yeah, they're definitely a thing here in Texas too. So I'm really excited about that. So maybe when I finish my chupacabra, this may be the next one that I do. Okay, so that is everything. Let me clear all this up, and then we'll wrap things up. Okay, so finally, I just wanted to briefly mention WhipGo, just for a reference, a point of reference at this point in the year. I have not stitched much on, or much of any of my WhipGo patterns at all. I was trying to flip through my journal really quick just so I could kind of give you an idea. I think I did a mid-year WhipGo kind of update. And other than, so I'm going to say that was June, right? July, maybe? Since June, July, the two that were pulled, I met those two, and that may have been part of my mid-year, now that I think about it. But I met both my goals for June, or for July. August, I actually got a bit done for those two, but I did not meet either of those goals. And then since then, I have not even touched a WhipGo. As a matter of fact, my September I put in my journal as to what those two were, and one of them I really did want to do, and just didn't get to it. And then of course October's here and gone, and it's now past the 27th, so she's already pulled November, which also means we already know December. So I don't have plans as of today to actively try to do any more. So, you know, the idea with WhipGo is even if you don't get all of your squares, you know, all of your WhipGos done, even if you got a bingo, you know, but I still think I need 2 any which direction. So I'm not putting out any pressure on myself to finish that for this year. What I would like to do though is revisit it, because it was a good tool for getting things done. And I did get some good finishes out of it, or get some really good progress on some chart or patterns that I do want to finish. But when I was doing some organizing the other day, and I got those bins and put everything in it that I had that was stitching, cross-stitch related, I realized not only did I still have so many WhipGo projects that I had not finished, because I was only trying to pace myself on things that were from the previous year, I had started so many new things. And it's not bad. I don't feel any pressure or anxiety about it, but I do realize that my cross stitch method is pretty much, you know, whatever motivates me to stitch. So I think I'm going to revisit what I put on WhipGo and how I do it. Instead of making every square a pattern that I want to work on that's a whip, maybe I open up some of those squares to either spinning a wheel but trying to work on something, or just making sure I get so many hours of stitching that month put in, or so many stitches that month put in on whatever project I want to work on, you know, that kind of thing. Because especially right now towards the end of the year, you know, I'm wanting to stitch on all the holiday stuff and all the spooky stuff, and I want to be involved with SALs, you know, with patterns that are being currently, if everybody took a year off and didn't release another pattern and gave me a year to play catch up, I might be in a better position. But that's not how the world works. So I keep wanting to stitch the new things too. So I need to give myself some space to be able to do that. So I want to do WhipGo because it worked when it did work for me, but I need to redo how I use it as a motivating factor in my stitching. So so that's where I'm at for WhipGo. Okay, so finally, throughout the course of this past, I don't know, hour or so, you may have noticed something that has slightly changed over the course of this video. And if you have, I would like to reward you for your sharp eagle eyes, so to speak. So, I mentioned before I finished Trimming the Tree by Michelle Garrett, Bendy Stitchy. I actually have both a paper copy of this and a digital copy. So I am willing to part with my paper copy. If you would like this, and if you noticed what happened, what changed, what one significant thing happened to change over the course of this video, leave a comment below. I don't want to give too many hints, but there have, things happen in the background. It's gotten darker outside. I mean, the fan may have been going or not going, or I may have, I don't know, had a booger or something. But there was one thing that I deliberately did different, changed each section of this video. So, if you noticed something that I changed, I don't know if that's really a hint or not. I hope so. Put it in the comments below, and I will pick a person to have the second copy of Trimming the Tree that I have. And the reason why I'm doing this now is I happened to notice over the last month I got to 100 subscribers. That's weird and crazy and wonderful and wild and a little scary all at the same time. But I'm saying thank you. I'm saying thank you to those who watch, because we do see the numbers. We may not see all 100 of you watch every single episode, and the vlog thing may not be your style. Maybe it's you're here for the knitting, or maybe you're only here for the cross stitch and you don't want to see the knitting. I don't know. But if you're here for the cross stitch, I'd like to reward you for being here. So all the typical things, don't say the words, don't put in your comment the word give and the word away, or give and way combined. Don't do that. Don't put the word win or won or any of those words in your comments. I want the 100 people to be here because they're here. I don't want the creepy people here because they want stuff that they don't really want. And yeah, I will pick a winner. There's no code word. What I'm looking for is a comment. And honestly, hopefully if you comment, you're commenting because you noticed the thing that changed. There's about 4 or 5 different, there's four distinct changes that occurred. They're all similar, but they're different. And if you notice them, that's what I'm looking for, is the comments. Now, if you don't get it right, between you and me, it's okay. We're cool. It's fine. But I'd like to give it to someone who happened to notice, that happened to be paying attention. So, with that, it is getting rather dark, and so I really need to get off of here. So, so the other part of this is just a paper, I'm just going to stick this in an envelope. I will mail it. I will open it up to anywhere in the world, international, as long as you accept, as long as you don't have any kind of regulatory postal issues with the United States. I will send it anywhere. What I will do is I will put all the people on probably the tiny decision wheel, because I won't be looking for a word per se. I will just be looking for people who noticed the change in the video, the 4 changes in the video. And I'm going to leave this open for 2 weeks. I was trying to look and see if I could tell. Give me a second here, folks. Hold, please. Okay, I will leave it open until the weekend of November 19th and 20th. I will probably be dropping or finishing up my weekly vlog that week. That will be the weekend before the American Thanksgiving holiday weekend, so it'll be the weekend before. I will pick a winner that weekend, and I will announce it, that the vlog that I drop shortly after that weekend. So, you all have a couple of weeks to watch this video. I hope somebody wants this. I hope you all are interested in this. It was a lot of fun. It's not a quick stitch, but I got it done in a month, with a little bit of break. I was motivated. I was highly motivated to finish it. But yeah, if you would like this, I will drop it in the mail to you. So, good luck. I am so glad you all are here. 100 is an amazing accomplishment, because I was not prepared for hitting 100 for like a really long time, because I was hoping this channel would just grow organically. Either people wanted to watch or they didn't want to watch, but not that they really they wanted to be here because they wanted to be here. They were my friends. They wanted to see what I was up to, but not just random, just people that just found my channel. That stuff, that's the exciting part. So if there are people here because you just found me, thank you for being here. And all my friends, thank you for continuing to be here and be supportive. And I love you all, whether I know you or not. And I hope you all are doing well. And I hope that wherever you are, you are doing your best with what you have. I hope life is good for you. Not great, not exceptional, not fantastic. If it's fantastic, it's fantastic. But I hope it's good. I hope you're doing well. And for those of you, as we're approaching the holiday season, I am one of those people that the holidays don't depress me. I have people in my family, the holidays depress them. I'm not one of those people, but the holidays don't mean much. They did as a kid, because, as a kid, the holidays were, woo, you're off school and you got to spend time with your cousins, and you got to, open gifts, and we have a lot of family birthdays around the holidays. But for me, the holidays are just another time of the year. So if the holidays don't mean that much to you, I hope the next couple of months, the end of the year, I hope you get what you want out of it. I hope it brings to you what you want. I hope the memories you make are good ones. I hope that the remaining months of the year provide you, even if it's just peace of mind, peace and quiet, a piece of pie, maybe, just bring you some peace. So, yeah, you all take care, and I will see you on the next one.